doesn't haunt you because you sold it. It haunts you because it changed who you thought you were. Your first Porsche isn't just a car. It's the moment you realized dreams have exhaust notes. Right now, somewhere, you're probably doing it. Scrolling through listings at midnight. Cars you can't quite afford. Some pristine. Some projects. All of them pulling at something deep in your chest. You open the Porsche configurator for the 100th time. Guards red or gentian blue, sport chrono or save the money. You calculate monthly payments, insurance rates, maintenance costs. You tell yourself it's irresponsible. You run the numbers again. But this isn't about being responsible. This is about that feeling you get when you see one drive past. The way your head turns without thinking. The way you can identify the model by the sound alone. A 911 has that flat six growl that rises and falls like breathing. A Cayman sounds tighter, more urgent, like it's always ready to pounce. Even a Macan has that specific Porsche turbocharged whistle that makes parking lots interesting. You watch every YouTube video on our channel. You know more about IMS bearings than any reasonable person should. You can explain the difference between a 997.1 and 997.2 to anyone who makes the mistake of asking. You know that 2009 is when Porsche introduced the MA1 engine that eliminated the IMS bearing entirely. And you've already decided whether that matters to you or not. The thing is, Porsche ownership creates a loop in your brain, not a line. Three forces start working on you the moment you first turn that left-mounted ignition. First, there's sensation memory, the steering weight, the brake pedal that feels like stepping on granite, the way the car settles into a corner like it's finding its center of gravity. Most cars blur together after you drive them. Porsches tend not to. Then there's the community that appears out of nowhere. You go from being a person with a car to being part of something. PCA events, cars and coffee, track days where strangers become friends over tire pressure discussions. That little wave from other Porsche drivers becomes part of your commute. You didn't know you were lonely for this specific type of connection until you had it. And then there are the numbers that whisper to your practical side. A 911 holds its value better than almost any car on the planet. The 2025 studies show 911s and Caymans losing less than 20% over 5 years, while everything else falls off a cliff. Your brain uses this data like permission. This isn't reckless, it says. This is practically an investment. But then something happens that changes everything. You finally go to see one in person. Maybe it's a 10-year-old 911 with stone chips on the nose. Maybe it's a Boxster with worn bolsters that smell like someone else's story. Doesn't matter. When you sit in that seat, when your hands find the wheel, when you push the clutch in and feel that mechanical precision, something shifts. This isn't transportation anymore. This is possibility. The test drive ruins you. Not because the car is perfect, but because it shows you what you've been missing. The way the engine sits behind you, talking directly to your spine, the way the whole car shrinks around you when you ask it to move, the way third gear from 3,000 to 7,000 RPM feels like truth. You've driven fast cars before. This is different. This makes you better. You hand over the money trying to look calm, but your signature on the paperwork looks like a child's. You can't believe you actually did it. The drive home is terrifying. Every sound is new. Is that normal? Should it do that? You're driving something that costs more than some people's yearly salary, and you're scared to push past 4,000 RPM. But over the next weeks, you start to learn its language, where the clutch grabs, how the gearbox feels when it's cold versus when it's warm, the sweet spot in third gear where everything comes alive, the way the car loads up in corners, teaching you about weight transfer without saying a word. You stop driving it and start dancing with it. This is where it gets dangerous. You park backwards everywhere now, just to look at it when you leave. You take photos of it in good light like it's your child. You find yourself in the garage at random times, not to work on it, just to confirm it's real. You learn about brake fluid that needs changing every 2 years, no matter what the mileage says. You discover that those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires everyone recommends cost $500 each, and you don't even flinch. Your daily routes change. The efficient path to work becomes irrelevant. You know every good corner within 20 miles, every smooth piece of asphalt, every tunnel where the exhaust note bounces back at you like applause. Sunday mornings aren't for sleeping anymore. They're for empty mountain roads where you can finally use fourth gear properly. The car starts teaching you things nobody mentioned. Patience when warming up the oil, confidence when the rear steps out in the wet, pride in keeping something mechanical in perfect condition. You check the oil level religiously. The Porsche way, engine warm on level ground, wait 60 seconds after shutoff. You know exactly how much it uses between changes. You can feel when the tire pressure is off by 2 psi. You join forums and argue about the best generation. You learn that GT3s use a different Mezger engine that doesn't have IMS issues. You memorize PDK shift times and debate manual versus automatic with strangers who become friends. You know what PCA stands for, and you've already looked up your local chapter's HPDE schedule. Here's what nobody tells you about Porsche ownership. It changes how you see driving, not just performance driving, but all driving. You start caring about lines through corners in your grocery store parking lot. You heel-toe downshift at stop signs when nobody's watching. You understand why racing drivers talk about the car as an extension of their body because you feel it too. The car's width, where the wheels are, how much grip is left. It's all just information flowing through your hands and hips and feet. You discover the Porsche Experience Center exists and book a session. 90 minutes with an instructor who shows you what your car can really do. How to trail brake, how to manage weight transfer, how to be smooth instead of fast, which, ironically, makes you faster. You leave that session different. Not better, different. Like someone just showed you a door you didn't know existed. Your relationship with speed changes too. It's not about going fast anymore. It's about the conversation between you and the physics. The way you can place the car within inches at speed. The way you can feel tires loading up through the wheel. The way the brake pedal tells you exactly how much grip you have left. This is what people mean when they say Porsches make you a better driver. They demand participation, but the real haunting hasn't even begun. Because one day, life changes. Maybe you need something more practical. Maybe you can afford something newer. Maybe the maintenance is adding up. Those ceramic brakes that cost $20,000 to replace? Those track days that eat tires like appetizers? So you write the listing. You try to explain what the car means, but the words fall short. Someone comes to look at it. They ask the same nervous questions you once asked. They take it for a test drive and come back with that same stunned expression you had. You hand them the keys. You watch your car, because it will always be your car, disappear down the street with someone else driving, and it hurts more than you expected. Years pass. You drive other things, good things, fast things, expensive things, but nothing feels quite right. The steering is too light or too heavy. The brakes are too soft. The engine is in the wrong place. Every sports car after feels like it's trying too hard or not trying hard enough. You measure every thrill against that first morning you took the long way to work in your Porsche. You still check the classifieds for your old VIN. You know it's out there somewhere, making someone else feel the way you felt. You keep the key fob in a drawer, just in case. You calculate what it would cost to buy it back. You tell yourself you're being ridiculous. Then you check the listings again. The haunting comes in waves. Sometimes it's a sound. A flat 6 in a parking garage that stops you mid-step. Sometimes it's a smell. That particular mix of leather and oil and heat that takes you back. Sometimes it's just Tuesday and you realize your commute used to be the best part of your day, and now it's just a commute. You try to explain it to people who haven't owned one. You sound insane. It's just a car, they say. And they're right, but they're also completely wrong. Because your first Porsche isn't just transportation that happened to be fast. It's the first time you understood what driving could be. It's the community you didn't know you were missing. It's the mechanical relationship that made you better at something difficult. 10 years later, you still know your old license plate by heart. You still remember the exact color code. You still check market values at 1 in the morning, telling yourself you're just curious. The spreadsheet part of your brain runs the numbers. The residuals are still strong. The maintenance intervals are actually reasonable. If you stay away from ceramics, that IMS issue doesn't exist on the newer engines. The PDK is faster than the manual, but the manual is more involving. You've already decided which one you'd get. Every Porsche owner has 2 ages, before and after. Before is when cars were appliances. After is when you understand that a machine could have a soul. Before is when driving was something you did. After is when driving became something you are. So yes, it will haunt you. Not because of what you had, but because of who you became. The ghost of that flat 6 will sing in your dreams forever. Every corner will be measured against corners you've forgotten the names of, but remember the feeling of. Every car will be too quiet, too soft, too separated from the road. Welcome to the haunting. You're going to love it here.